Good morning, y'all. Kind of under the weather right now, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna read this speech for a reason. I am not. I am a black man who is a descendant of African slaves. I will not consider myself of these fake movements you have on these social media. You'll never see me be a Pan-African. You will never call myself one of these stupid Albo Negroes who pretend to be Indians. There is a reason why I'm going to do this video. Because it's time to put a heart. It's time to dissect and deconstruct these stupid internet talking points. FBA, ADOS, Pan-African. All these little Greek movements, they only exist. And also, I'm also put a fourth movement, the Albo original Negroes. You Negroes, you believe though y'all was Indians. Y'all will never tell the world what language you spoke before the white man got here. Y'all never talk about the customs y'all had before the white man got here. So I don't want to hear nothing. But let me read something real quick. And then, and there's another reason why I'm doing this video. It's to you white conservatives, right? Now I'm down here in a red state. How you white conservatives talk about the Democratic Party, slaves, and how the that the Confederacy wasn't about slavery and all that. We're going to kill that too. We're going to kill that talking point right now. So what I'm going to do, we're going to read this speech. And let me say this, here is the speech right here. Let me drop this real quick. Let me go ahead and show this real quick. Because we're going to end some of these stupid, lame talking points. These internet talking points that gets on my damn nerves. Right here. The link is in the description box. I'm going to read this. I know, and before somebody said, well, Big J, where is the original form? There is the original copy. But I'm not going to read the original copy because of the how faded the image are. So let me read what's on here. Let me get back on here. This is from Alexander Stevenson. Alexander H. Stevenson, the Vice President of the Confederate States of America on March 21st, 1861. We are passing through one of the greatest revolutions in the annals of the world. Annals of the world. 7 states within the last 3 months drawn off an old government and now form a new. This revolution has been silently marked up upon this time and by the fact of its being accomplished without the loss of a single drop of blood. This constitution or form of government constitutes the subject to which your attention will be partly inviolate. In reference to it, I make this first general remark. It amply secures our ancient rights, franchises, and liberties. All the great principles of the Magna Carta are retained in it. No citizen is deprived of life, liberty, or property, but by the judgment of his peers under the laws of the land. The great principle of religious liberty, which was honor and pride of the old Constitution, which still maintain and secure. All the essentials of the old Constitution, which have endeared to the hearts of the American people and been reserved and enumerated. Some changes have been made. Some of these which I had preferred not to be made, but others important changes do meet my cultural appropriation. They form great improvements upon the old Constitution. And so taking the whole new Constitution, I have no hesitation in giving it as my judgment that it is decidedly better than the old. But allow me briefly to allude to some of these improvements. But not to be tedious to enumerating the numerous changes for the better, allow me to allude to one another through last not least. The new Constitution has put at rest forever all the aggregating questions relating to our particular institution. African slavery, as it exists among us, the proper status of the Negro, and the form of civilization, and it was an immediate cause of the late rapture and present revolution. Jefferson, in his forecast, had anticipated this as the rock upon which the old Union was split. He was right. What was conjectured with him is now a realized fact. But whatever he fully comprehended, the great truth upon which the rock stood and stands may be doubted. The prevailing ideas entertained by him and most of the leading statesmen at the time of the formation of the old Constitution were that the enslavement of the African was in violation of the laws of nature. It was wrong in principle, socially, morally, and politically. It was an evil they knew not well how to deal with. But the general opinion of the men of the day was that somehow or another, in the order of providence, the the institution will be even static and pass away. The idea of not incorporating in the Constitution was prevailing idea at the time. The Constitution, it is true, secured every essential guarantee. And you know what? I'll show it. See, I highlight the main point. To ensure every essential guarantee to the institution while it should last, and hence no judgment can be justly urged against the constitutional guarantees, thus second because of the common sentiment of the day. These ideas, however, were fundamentally wrong, and they rested upon the assumption of the equality of races. This was an error. It was a sandy formation, and the government built upon it when the storm came and the wind blew. Our new government is formed upon exactly the opposite idea, that its foundation is laid, its cornerstone rests upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man. That slavery, subordination to the superior race, is his nature and normal condition. Thus, our new government is the first in the history of the world based upon the great physical, psychological, and moral truth that this truth has been slow in the process of its development. And like all other truths in the various departments of science, it has been even amongst us. Many who hear me perhaps can recollect while this truth was not generally admitted even within his day, in their day. The eras of the past generation still clung as late as 20 years ago. Those in the North who cling to the eras with the zeal above knowledge, we justly denominate fanatics. All fanaticism springs from an operation of the mind, from a defect in reasoning, and it is a species of insanity. One of the most striking characteristics of insanity and instance is forming correct conclusions from fanciful or erroneous premises. So with the anti-slavery fanatics, their conclusions are right if their premise were. They assume that the Negro is equal, and hence conclude that he's entitled to equal privileges and rights with the white man. If their premise were correct, their conclusions would be logical and just. But their premise being wrong, their whole argument fails. And I recollect once of having heard of a gentleman from one of the northern states of great power and ability announced in the House of Representatives with a pose in effect that we of the South would be compelled ultimately to yield to this subject of slavery. that it was as impossible to war successfully against a principle in politics as it was in the physics or mechanics, but that the principle would that would ultimately prevail. That we, in maintaining slavery as it exists with us, were warring against a principle founded in nature, a principle of equality of men. The reply I made to him was that upon his own grounds, we should ultimately succeed, and that he and his associates in this crusade against our institutions would ultimately fail. The truth announced that it is impossible to war successful against a principle in politics as it is in the physics and mechanics. I admit, but I told him that it was he and those acting with him, but were warring against a principle. They were attempting to make things equal to which the Creator made unequal. It in the conflict thus far, success has been on our side and complete throughout the length and breadth of the Confederate States. It is upon this, as I stated, our social fabric is firmly planted, and I cannot permit myself to doubt the ultimate success of a full recognition of this principle throughout the civilized and enlightening world. As I stated, the truth of this principle may be slow in development, as all truths are and ever have been in various branches of science. It was so with the principle of Galileo, and so with Adam Smith and his principle of political economy. So was with Harvey and his theory of the circulation of the blood. It is stated that not one single one of the medical profession living in the time of the announcement of the truths made by him omitted them. Now they are universally acknowledged. We not therefore took with the confidence to the ultimate universal acknowledgement of the truths upon which our system rests. It is the first government to ever institute upon the principles in strict conformity to nature, in the ordainment of providence, in the furnishing the materials of human society. Many governments have been founded upon the principle of subordination and serfdom of certain classes of the same race. Such were and are in the violation of the laws of nature. Our system commends no such violation of nature's laws. With us, all of the white race, however high or low, rich or poor, are equal in the eye of the law. Not so with the Negro. Subordination is his place. By nature, he by nature, or by the curse against Cain, is fitted for the condition he occupies in our system. The architect in the construction of buildings laid the foundations with proper material, the granite, which comes the brick or the marble. The substantium of our society is made of the material fitted by nature for it, and by experience we know what is best, not only for the superior, but for the inferior race, that it should be so. It is indeed in conformity in the ordinance of the Creator. It is not for us to inquire in the wisdom of his ordinances or to question them. For his own purposes, he has made one race different from another. And as he made one star different from another star in glory, the great objects of humanity are best attained when they are conformity to his laws and decrees, in the formation of governments of which all things else. Our confederacy is founded upon the principles in strict conformity of these laws. This stone, which was rejected by the first builders, is become the chief of the real cornerstone in our effigy. Not effigy. I read that. Efference. In our efference. I have been asked, what of the future? It has been apprehended by some that we would have arrived against us, the civilized world. Yes, Pierre. I'm okay. I'm doing fine. Thank you. Okay, I see Ebony Star here. Okay. Um, I care not. Let me go back reading this. I care not who or how many they may be against us, when we stand upon the eternal principles of truth. If we are true to ourselves and the principles for which we contend, we are obligated to and must triumph. Thousands of people who begin to understand these truths are um, are not yet completely out of shell. They do not see them in Lenten breath. We hear much of the civilization and the Christianization of the barbarous tribes of Africa. In my judgment, these ends will never be attained, but by first teaching them the lesson taught to Adam, that in the sweat of his brow should eat his bread. Teach them to work and feed and clothe themselves. Now, this is the speech from Alexander Stevenson, the vice president of the Confederacy. Now, there is a reason why I read this. Okay? There is a reason why I read this. You know, there is a fundamental reason why I read this. See, a lot of y'all who come on YouTube and spread misinformation. Now, not just by white conservatives, but by you FBA, ADOS, Pan African. A lot of y'all spread misinformation all over the internet. So if y'all care, you know, and yes, I'm going to do a shameless plug. I'm gonna do a little shameless plug right now. Go ahead and donate. If you really want more videos like this, then donate. I'm not going to beg. I'm not here to e-beg. But if y'all really like this, you want more of this, therefore, go ahead and go to buymecoffee /.com/ Big J and donate. I don't care. I don't care how much you buying. But see, I think I'm going to have to do some more videos like this, more live streams like this, so I can um put out the real information. Because a lot of you Negroes who call yourself Indian, talking about there's no such thing as slavery. Where are the slave ships at? How come every government document it talks about the African? And I just show y'all a government document at the beginning of this live stream. In fact, it's in the description box of this live stream. See, I want y'all to dissect and deconstruct. No, scratch that. I'm here to dissect and deconstruct y'all's talking points. Y'all can't do it with me. Now, shout out to Citizen Lou, by the way. Shout out to Citizen Lou. So back to quick Pierre Butterfly's question. If yes, Pierre, I'm okay. I calmed down, Pierre. I feel better now. Since my last two live streams, I got it off my chest. So I better not hear a damn thing out of those clowns no more. So anyway, and I'm surprised Ebony Star showed up. I'm very surprised. Anyway, let me get off of here. You know what? And let me say this. I might have to go ahead and read all of the Confederacy ordinances of recession, of secession, because they talk about black people throughout the entire reason why they are seceding from the Union. I don't want to hear crap from none of you white conservatives, or are you pro-blacks, you so-called FBA, you ADOS Negroes, or are you Pan-Africans who sit there and try to divide people and try to spread mistruth and all that. I'm tired of it. It's time to set the tone. But anyway, I want to say it said just check the links in the description box and get off of here. Y'all be easy. I'm out. Y'all have a good one.